Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mr. Good, and this is a video about the beginning part of 122 file management. I think this is a really important topic in cybersecurity, especially when you're searching, when you find something wrong on your computer and you want to find out if there's more bad stuff on there. So after you detect something, this is a great way to detect everything that's gone wrong. Especially the search feature. But the beginning part, I did want to show you. Our goals are learn about file types, how can you open things safely, how can you figure out who owns them, finding hidden files, encrypting files, and searching. So if we go down here after you read the stuff about files, make sure you spend some time on here. One thing you do need to know, and this is just life skill, is how to open a zip file. So the first thing it goes in here is in activities 122 files, because we're in 1.2.2. This activity content, instead of double clicking on a zip file, what you really should do is extract all. Now, when I clicked on it, it has up here extract, because sometimes you can't use the files that are in a zipped file correctly unless you extract them. So I always do extract all, and you get to tell it where to go. I just want it to go to the desktop usually, and then I can put it somewhere from there. So I hit browse and then I hit extract, and what happens is you'll see now on my desktop popped up this popped up these files. These are all the things that were in this zip file right here, these three. But they might not work correctly if you're still in the zipped file. See, I'm in the zipped file. So just be careful that you extract things before you try using them. And that's just for any class. Anytime you get a zip file, extract it to your desktop, call it a day. Now, we're going to start messing with these files. And we're going to look at them. So if I go to, my file thing down here, and I look on my desktop, I should see, let me change this view. I hate when it's, there we go. I want to do a list. Maybe I'm going to create a new folder. Here's another life skill. If you right click or double click on this, make a new folder. I'm going to call it 1.2. Am I not able to type? Yep. Gosh darn it. Gotta refresh real quick. I just want a new folder so I don't have to look at other stuff. And I just want to rename it 122 stuff. Okay, so I'll put these guys in there. Get in there. Okay. So now when I go to my thing, I can go to desktop and 122 stuff, and I can look at my 3 messages. Now, if I click on them, it's a bad idea, but a file executed, press any key to continue. Boom, that's not good. So if I click on these, oh geez, they're executing. You ran a program that might have been hacked. So you shouldn't just randomly click on stuff. You should look at what type of files they are before clicking on them. So if I do this, sorry, I did that fast. Hold on. If I click View, I see there are item checkboxes, file name extensions. I'm going to click on that. It can show me what type of files they are. Like if it says important message, I expect this to be a text file, which is TXT, or a doc, or a Word, or something like that. A notebook file. I don't expect it to be a batch file. See, if I hover over that, here's the type. So I should have known better than to click on it, even without the file type showing. See how it tells me what type it is? Should have been like, oh man, don't open that. It's a trap, as Admiral Akbar would say. But you can turn it on. What's cool is, and this is what it goes through in the lesson, is you can actually change the type of file extension into whatever you want in Windows. This is not in every operating system, but in Windows you can do this. Where if I'm afraid of it being a batch file, because a batch file can run stuff on my computer, but I want to look at it and read it harmlessly, you're allowed to change it to a text file. I just went in and I changed it to TXT. And it says, caution, it might be unusable. Yeah, it's fine, because now when I click on it, it shows me what is in there. And if you look at it, it's doing this echo thing, and it gives a title of another warning. But if you look at this code is not malicious. It's not doing anything terrible. It's just a warning. But I didn't know that until I opened it. And now I know it. So you can do that with all of these. You can just change them. You can change their type if you feel like it. And it always warns you because you might be like altering it. So if I look at this message, it says, oops, a file executed, and it's a message box, which is something, that's just the notation an HVA needs. Oh no, there's HTA. I forget what this was, VBS or something. Here's something else you can do. I could just put .txt at the end, and it still turns it into a text file. This is a web page one in HTML, and it basically just popped up and displayed a warning on the screen. None of them were bad, but you didn't know that. So I'm going to turn them all back to what they used to be. What was this one? This one was HTA. So I just got to delete that off. This one was V something. VBS. This one was VBS. And the top one was the top one? HTA was already done. Let me pause while I figure this out. And that first one was a batch file. I really should have just done TXT. And then that would have been fine, so that I could just more easily erase it. So here's what's sneaky though, is sometimes mean people will hide these things and just assume that you aren't bright enough to notice. So watch what I can do. And this is in the lesson too. I can do this. I can go, import message 1, and I can do .txt .bat. So now it's still a batch file. See over here? But if I turned off, well, I'll do it to this one too. Let me see, what's another one? .doc. .vbs, right? And this one I can, make another txt file. So right now, you would look at these and you're like, oh, it ends in batch file. I'm not opening that. VB script and a HTML thing. But if I go back in here and I turn off the file extensions, look how sneaky that is. You're like, oh, important message. It's a text message. I should be able to open that. Wrong. Bad move. Or this is a doc. It's a Word doc. Oops. This is just a text file. Oh, man. So sometimes people do that and it's sneaky. Now there's some easy ways to catch them. 1, turn on your file extensions and catch that double extension thing. 2, look at the type. I mean, it tells you there. Or 3, some of you noticed that these icons were not what you expected. What do you normally expect if you see a TXT file? Look, it turns into something like a notepad. And if you have a doc, a Word doc, I wonder if this has Word on it. We'll see. Yeah, it usually has a W there. So normally you can tell by the icons too what they are. This looks like a web page. It was a web page. So that's some stuff there. That's sneaky, but it's cool. And just know you can change them to these double extensions. So one thing you want to do is make sure that you always go to View and turn on your file name extensions and look at the type. So yeah, that's something you want to do. Something else you want to do, and this is down at the bottom part of the first day, and sometimes you want to see who made this who made this document. So let's say I had these file names turned on. Oh, hold on. Let me turn that back to a batch file. Let's say I had these file names turned on, and I wanted to see who made this thing. VBS. What you can do is, see how there's a category for name, date modified, type, and size? Something else you can do is, you can go in here and, what do I do? Oh no, I just click on the top here. I right click, and you can see what's turned on. Date modified, type, size, date created, authors. Maybe I want to turn on authors. Sometimes that's not as good as owner. So if you want to find owner, go down here to more. And it's alphabetical, so boop-a-doop-a-doo. I'm going down to O for owner. You could just start typing in owner too, by the way. I'm clicking on owner. So if you see over here, what turned on was who made this thing. And you want to see if it's a trusted source. Like, sometimes bad people will get on your computer and create a new login and create a new user. So this is administrator. That's me on this computer. So it looks like I made it myself, which would be not possible unless someone got on here and used my computer while I was out of the room or something. But sometimes you'll see a different name there, like a suspicious user that you didn't even know existed when you look at owner. These don't really have authors, so that wasn't too useful. I'm going to turn authors back off. Okay, so that's another thing you can do. Anyway, so I'll come back with the other part of the video on how to search effectively.